Hey guys, it's DK Spencer. So I'm gonna, I just don't have time to type in all the comments, and the comments are going crazy on one of my videos. So I gotta address something. So LL Machines, I love the video you did. I went and watched it, but I do have to say that I'm gonna have to explain as to why that I'm gonna disagree with you disagreeing with physics. But and not knocking you. I love your channel. I love you. You're a great guy. But here's why that test really wasn't a test, and why that you probably shouldn't come to your conclusion yet. Just be patient. But so first of all, just for anybody else that doesn't know me or whatever, I'm 46 years old, and before I had a valid driver's license, my dad taught me to reload ammunition. And you don't reload ammunition without learning ballistics. Well, at least you don't reload it very well. That was pretty good. But anyway, especially for a kid. But so anyway, I've had at least 20 years of just ballistics experience, and you know, shooting before that. But I was pretty much born with a gun in my hand. That's my thing. I love to shoot. But anyway, I've got, like, you know, 20 plus years of actual real ballistics experience. So when I tell you that something that heavier ammo penetrates more, I'm not basing that off of the few shots I've taken in a couple of videos that y'all have watched. I'm basing that off of physics and experience and just knowing. Now, why am I saying so much about, you know, this stuff? So here's the thing. LL Machines, the people who are talking about the ballistic gel, those people actually have a very, very good point. They're correct. The ballistic gel is a much more accurate way to test, and really the only accurate way to test. Unless you're taking thousands of shots, there will be no way with what you're using for testing, and I'll tell you why. You say it in your video. Some of the, you know, it's bone, and, you know, it's rib and meat and bag and water, and so it's, you know, a thin, long strip of meat with bone and everything in it, which sounds good to test bone penetration and all that. But the thing of it is, if you're going and testing like weight against weight, or ammo against ammo, or marker against marker, or something like that, and not just saying, okay, this is 50 joules, let's see what it does to, how much it destroys it, that's fine. You know, that's perfectly fine. But if you're wanting to come to an actual, like I'm not using the scientific method on my videos. I'm not showing a big bunch of shots because I'm not trying to prove a theory. I already know the physics behind it, and I'm just giving people a visual representation of how it plays out in less lethal. So a lot of times, most of the time, now granted, I had to learn that, you know, power starts dropping off after a 14-inch barrel with these. That's not something I knew coming into this. But most of the general physics, you know, especially when it comes to like heavier versus light ammo and stuff, that's like day one physics and ballistic stuff. That's not stuff that I learned when I made those videos. That's stuff I learned 20 years ago, and I made those videos to show these people that are trying to learn it now. So for you to base, for you to decide that theory is, that physics principle is wrong based off of that test, I'll tell you why that you can't really do that. So you're shooting through that bag. The bag probably has a label. If that bag has a label, then you're shooting through paper, plastic, meat, bone, water, right, and air. So you're shooting through all that different stuff, and then the big thing, like you say in the video, some of them go between the ribs, some of them don't. So you don't even know what it's hitting, what it's hitting when it's going through it. So unless you would just have to take a ridiculous amount of shots to even have any kind of statistical significance in that, because there's so many little micro variables in it. Like, you could shoot one time and it go through a rib and stick into the back plate. You could shoot another marker that's twice as powerful. It hit a bone and bounce out, and now that one's better. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make this video saying that if you're trying to actually prove something, especially if it's against the grain of what is widely accepted, then you definitely need to use the ballistic gel, which is what I'm begging you to do. Please get you some ballistic gel. If you need some more BK kinetics for the test, I'm suggesting it. Obviously, I'll send you some. But get you some ballistic gel and shoot you some of the 8 grams and some of the 13.5 grams that I sent you into that ballistic gel at the same time, from the same launcher, from the same distance, and see if you don't change your mind about if the theory that I have is BS. Now, let's talk about something else. If you go deer hunting with the 30-30, you have, like, if you go deer hunting in the brush, you usually will take a 30-30, right? Something like that. You want something that's big and slow, and the reason for that is if you hit brush, you know, twigs, sticks, leaves, whatever, it'll just kind of push right through it, push it out the way. And yeah, it might deflect it a little bit, but it's probably not going to, you know, shoot into the next county. Now, a 22-250 is massive velocity, massive velocity. Well, you're not even allowed to deer hunt with a 22-250. It's not heavy enough. The ammo is not heavy enough to hunt with it. So think about the fact that when you, and I was going somewhere else with that point. I just realized this point, but think about that when it comes to deer hunting, you have to have like in our state, I think it's a 30 caliber limit. You can't shoot little calibers because they don't weigh enough. It's number one, it's more dangerous because of ricochets and stuff like that. Number two, it's more likely it's just going to wound the animal and not actually kill it. So even, you know, and I'm not going to say that all laws are made by people that have sense, but hunting laws typically are. Firearm laws are not, by any means. But anyway, I digress. But the point that I was making with that, where I was going with that, you have such a chance of not deflecting with some big, you know, thing like that, but you get a 22-250 it's extremely fast, but just a blade of grass will deflect a 22-250 completely off target, and it has so much more velocity than a 30-30, or I mean, it's just, you know, it's the velocity on a 22-250 is ridiculous, but a blade of grass will throw it off its trajectory. All right, check this out. Burn of kinetics 3 grams, because we're dealing with less power, less weight, you know, whatever. These burn of kinetics, these little 3 gram things you can't even feel in your hand, they don't even need that blade of grass. The air, you get turbulence. You shoot 50 joules with one of those, you literally get turbulence around them because of it going through the air. And they're so wildly inaccurate. They're horrible. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. All right, so hopefully I have not ticked anybody off. I have not meant to. I just felt that I needed to kind of clarify a couple of things as to where I'm coming from and why I'm not really necessarily doing a scientific method proof on stuff unless, if I'm challenged on anything, I will. Don't get me wrong, but if my advice, anybody there's a lot of people out there that are coming in and making all these less lethal videos and stuff, and the ones that have, you know, the backgrounds and stuff, that's great. They come into it with a little bit of advantage, but the key thing is don't jump to conclusions and don't think that there's always a bigger gun. And I screwed up I screwed up on Facebook the other day because my dumbass read something wrong and was given horrible advice, and finally I realized, you know, reread it and was like, oh, never mind, I'm an idiot. You know, shit happens, but don't get locked into something based off of, you know, something until you research it and test it quite extensively, because there are easily variables and stuff, and you can get fooled. And you take 2 shots here and 2 shots there, and some fluke happens, and you go through life thinking something's better because of 2 shots. You got to do a whole lot more. Not saying that LL Machines just took 2 shots. I'm just talking shit now. But anyway, LL Machines, I expect to see a dadgum ballistic gel video. If you need any help knowing how to make some, I'm quite the expert. Let me know. I might even make a video tonight on how to. Who knows? I know how to make ballistic gel because one time in the Congo, I can't even make up another flyer. Not a good enough flyer.